In this pandemic, optimizing your health is key, and you can avoid or minimize those so-called underlying conditions if you know how to clear your system, according to this healthcare practitioner.
What we don't resolve when there's issues will come out sometime in the future, whether it comes out as a headache, a cancer, a cold, ache and pain somewhere. It has to express itself.
And during these pandemic times, stress can cause major detrimental impact on your health. The good news is that there are some simple things you can do to de-stress.
When a body is stressed, it cannot heal. And when the body is more relaxed, it heals much faster.
Our bodies are naturally made to support our wellness. We just have to know how to allow that.
So our brain is our engine or power center. If the brain works better, everything else will naturally work better.
Aloha Mamas, and welcome to the CoronaMama Zoom Room. This show is brought to you by the Maui Mama magazine. And we are here for you, the Maui Mama, to help you to connect, express, and share all those things that are on our minds during this pandemic time. Our motto is #share aloha, not corona. I'm Angeline Chu Longshore, and today we're talking about DIY wellness, simple, do-it-yourself practices to be well and to regenerate down to the cellular level. Okay, so this is part of our proactive pandemic series. We're going on with that. And here we are. It is Thanksgiving week, and you're probably home with your keiki, right, on a school break. Whew, what a relief not to have that distance learning for just a moment, right? Whether you're at home with your kids or you're a working parent, it has just been a doozy for most of us. I don't know, some people like it, but a lot of us, right? And hey, did you see that there's Christmas trees down in town just in time for Thanksgiving? I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I was thinking, okay, well, maybe that's a good project for you to do at home with your kids, right? Decorate the Christmas tree. I don't know, just in time for Thanksgiving. I think it's a little early, but you know. So Thanksgiving, we are going to have a different Thanksgiving this year, just due to the pandemic, right? Probably not so much of those big Ohana gatherings. Maybe kind of a smaller situation, that little bubble of friends that you have had for a while, and maybe just your immediate family, right? So it is going to be different, and we're all thinking about our extended Ohana, right? We miss them. We wish we could be with them. But here's an idea that maybe you might like. So this I thought was really cool. What about swapping food? So like, you could swap food with a family member by bringing over a really nice dish, and they bring over a really nice dish that you're familiar with in the holiday time, but you don't either know how to make or you don't want to make it. I just thought this was great because it's less work for the cook, but you still get that variety of food, and also you get that sense of a shared Thanksgiving. Because when we share food, it's that communal thing of breaking bread together. We can't do that, but at least you feel the love in the food, right? Okay, so that's, I think, a cool one. And then there's, speaking of that, I'll be baking 50 or maybe 60 loaves of bread, rye bread, for the Haleakala Waldorf School. And so this year they're having a virtual experience. It's going to be an online, warmth of the holidays in the home experience, where starting noon December 5th, you can live stream on Facebook all their entertainment. They're going to have musical entertainment and other entertainment. And then actually right now, you can go online because the marketplace is open. You can pre-order some gifts and crafts and baked goods, including my bread. And so that is at www.haleakala hwsholidayfair.com. And speaking of those small gatherings that you might be having this year, if you're cooking for a family or a small group this year, which you probably are, you probably aren't wanting to buy a whole big, huge turkey, right? So here I have this great idea for you. This is the most delicious recipe where you get your turkey cooked the quickest possible way ever, and your gravy instantly, in the same pot. It's pretty amazing in the Instapot. So I have done this for a couple of years, and you can find that recipe. It is my wine-infused, cranberry-stuffed Instapot turkey breast, and it's on my Instagram at Chew on This Flavor Wisdom. And you can thank me later because I know you'll love it. Okay, and here's something new. I want to let the busy mama know. If you would rather listen to this show as an audio podcast, you'll be able to do that soon. I'm launching the Discovery Mode podcast on Spotify and iTunes, which will run this CoronaMama series of shows, as well as other live and recorded shows that I produce, all wrapped up into one place. So for me, being in Discovery Mode means approaching life with discovery and an exploration mindset as we help to navigate our families in this life a little bit better by what we learn. Okay, so 'tis the season, right? For kindness, for goodness. I've been seeing it in the Maui Mommies Facebook groups, people just doing so much good. And so this is the name, actually, Do More Good, hashtag Do More Good Maui Nui, that the Maui United Way has started because they kicked this off for their 75th year anniversary. And so we are talking about that with Maui United Way President Nick Winfrey. So let's bring him into the Zoom room. Aloha, Nick. Welcome to the CoronaMama Zoom room.
Thank you so much, Angeline. We appreciate the opportunity to connect.
Well, I am really happy to have you here. It's like 'tis the season of really doing good. And I saw your Do Good campaign, Do More Good campaign, I'm sorry, that the United Way is really kind of challenging people to do more good. And it's part of your 75-year anniversary. So before we get into that, I want to have you introduce yourself and tell people who you are, about your family, you're here in Maui, and what you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Nick Winfrey. I am the President and Chief Professional Officer at Maui United Way. It's my beautiful, loving wife of over 10 years, as well as a couple of our furry friends located here in Hilo. We've been on island for just a little over a year and a half, and we're in Sydney, Australia prior to that for a few years, and then the mainland prior to that. But absolutely love the community, love the Aloha Spirit, and feel very fortunate that we were able to land here prior to the world flipping upside down, so to speak.
Yeah, really. Wow. So tell me about this campaign and how did it start and what is it about?
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of came organically from our organization. We didn't see our 75-year anniversary being celebrated in the way that it is, virtually. But we figured there's got to be some ways that we can kind of activate the community to do some more. The campaign I was familiar with back in Australia, stemmed from a couple of different facets, and this is kind of where it came out of. One was, every year you had a campaign to just ask people, are you okay? Is everything okay? It's always good to discuss mental health issues and issues facing us on an everyday basis that we might not feel comfortable talking about. And we ran a campaign to try to activate people to actually do that. Here came our 75th anniversary. Here came this incredible crisis that's affecting, both our community in their health, but also in their mental health, as well as their economic standing, as well as their future. And our fear became, is everyone going to curl up in the fetal position and just turn off, becoming that fight or flight survival mechanism? And we figured we had to step up, and what's a good way to do that? It actually, our parade every year, the Maui County Parade, we'd always, have all of our volunteers in these bright shirts representing Maui United Way. So we had a small little budget set aside, and I was like, what can we use that for? So we partnered with Hawaii's Finest, located on Molokai, and came up with a new design T-shirt that we can, kind of hand out. And we said, well, let's make people work for this. What can we do? So what we're doing is we're actually asking people to do more good. It's get up, stand up, stretch your legs, call on your neighbor, see if they need something, call your favorite nonprofit, see if there's ways that you can support them, whether that's financially or through, volunteering or expertise, or donate to Maui United Way and the partner agencies that we have. We're just trying to get people to reach out instead of reach in, because it does really have a compounding effect to help each other. And I'm a perfect example of that. I've felt this stress and have that syndrome of I have a roof over my head, so I shouldn't complain. But that doesn't mean that we're not feeling and being affected by what's going on in our community. And having that connection, even Angeline connecting with you, this is what we need, right? And how can we activate that? So if people do pledge, it's not giving money. It's just saying you're gonna do more good. By giving 75 hours this year, we're gonna send you one of these limited edition Hawaii's Finest shirts. So we are trying to bribe people, trying to incentivize them in one way, and then we're asking people to hashtag do more good Maui Nui in their posts, and we'll share that. We want to spread the word about the work that people are doing.
What I love is the fact that you're saying, when I don't know exactly how you said it, but when someone steps up and does good, it's infectious. And so, we want to spread something else other than the coronavirus, and in this time, it's so needed to just touch in with a neighbor. And I noticed that when people do something good, it's so inspiring. And I've seen in the Maui Mommy Facebook groups, when one person posts something and asks other moms to join, everyone is so happy. They're actually so thankful that someone put out the idea. And, and so what I think that when I saw this campaign, I'm like, do more good. That just resonates right now with everyone of what we really want to do. It's like we have it in us. We just needed someone to say it, to actually propose it. And so, it will make people step up in so many ways, like you're saying, maybe not necessarily with the United Way, Maui United Way, but in other ways where you'll say, oh, that's really cool. Because I saw some of the posts on your Facebook page and I was like, wow, that's really cool that these people are doing this. And it makes you feel like you want to give in some way. So even if it's your next door neighbor or someone, it just makes people feel like stepping up in general. So I just love that.
And you said it exactly right. It spreads. It's infectious. And it does. I mean, there's a reason why I work where I work, and helping others, it makes you feel good, right? And it's definitely addictive, to say the least. But we have been seeing people step up for this campaign, and whether or not they were going to do it or not, we don't know. But the fact that they're sharing it and letting people know really is amazing. We had a partner that we didn't expect to make a massive donations of masks that we were able to get over to Lanai during this crisis, and it's literally saving lives. That spread was, and that kind of expansion of COVID over there was really stopped in its tracks. So the combined power of people is much greater than what individuals think at times as well. As they're like, what, well, I can do this. I want to do more good, but not thinking 5 steps down the line of what those impacts actually have. It's crazy. It's really crazy to see how much can be done, if we just kind of, step up and do a little more good.
Well, I think right now, a lot of us are in our own homes, dealing with our own situation, but we don't know what's actually happening all around for everyone. So you're there, you see what people are needing, what's happening for everyone, not everyone, but what are the needs out there?
Yeah, Maui United Way has been around for 75 years, and we have this incredible foundation within the community as a trusted organization, as a funder of 40 different nonprofits, as well as, additional 30 programs through our safety net and COVID emergency fund. We have our ear to the ground, and we have that interconnectivity within the nonprofit sector, that we see the trends that are taking place in needs. Obviously early on when we launched our safety net program, we saw what was taking place in New York of not shutting down the schools because the fear was students wouldn't have food, for the free meals, and how would you adapt to that? So we immediately thought, okay, well, food security is going to be an issue. So what we've really been doing is kind of throwing buckets of water on a raging fire as far as what the needs are, and we're starting to plan long term. So as this crisis unfolds, we've seen, the mental health issues come up. We've seen the addiction, issues come up. We've seen the health issues come up, the economic issues come up. The fear that we have is that because we're not staying connected, we might not even be seeing, all of the cases of these issues that you would normally, expect. So we think that they're actually higher than what they are. But what we are seeing is food security is a massive issue. We're seeing that rental and mortgage assistance is beyond anyone's understanding of how big it is. And we're trying to figure out solutions to that and capacity building, if there are additional federal funds, how to support that. But you're seeing these reactionary effects too of, okay, well, let's put a moratorium on evictions. That helps, and that's fantastic, and we need to continue that. But now what we're seeing is unmet needs of people that can't pay their mortgage now, and what effect that has. So it's a lot of this reactionary planning, because we're on a cliff face. The amount of unemployment that we're still seeing within our community, the amount of things that aren't getting reported, we have a fear, and the nonprofit sector as a whole has a fear. But we are talking, and we are communicating, and I think for everyone it's just a matter of communicating more openly, whether that's the federal, state, county, nonprofit sector, your neighbors, everybody, just so we're aware. We know what's going on so how we can address the issues that are facing us. The crisis has kind of forced us, the nonprofit sector, to work more smartly. So we are kind of evaluating on how best to use our resources, how to not duplicate efforts, and how to step in when we can step in. One of those instances is we saw that there was a massive need for PPE in the nonprofit sector. It just, for some reason, it wasn't making to us. But we were able to secure funding, and we've disseminated over $40,000 in PPE to the nonprofit community. Rosalani's, we were the ones that were able to help curtail their issues. The week we learned about Lanai, we actually had over 10 boxes of PPE sent directly to the healthcare workers and things like that. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing the nonprofit sector find and realize what gaps are taking place and addressing them. Lots on the horizon. I mean, I lose sleep at night, with childcare and gaps in education that are going to be taking place and are taking place. We've had to send devices out to East Maui because there weren't, students didn't even have the capacity to learn remotely. So you're realizing that there's more issues within our community than people expect. Realizing that there's more on the horizon as far as a long-term plan goes. And I think once again, that's why we have to not be, isolated and have conversations about how do we address these. I will share, I had a conversation with my old German friend out in Australia, and he stated, he was like, it's fascinating that even during these downtimes in the US and in these crazy situations that are taking place, you still see innovation. You see people just with that, that mentality and attitude of just get it done, let's figure it out. And that's what you're seeing in Maui County. You're seeing the nonprofits do it, you're seeing the county do it. The amount of work that county staff and hours they're putting in is really astounding to me. And I don't know if people realize that, the amount of hours that they're working into the night, trying to make sure that, all the gaps are being filled. So I could go on for hours. I know this is a limited show, but it's a lot, but the Aloha Spirit, there's a reason why my wife and I relocated here and to put down our roots permanently, is because of that. And it's really been a lifesaver during these last 9 months.
Well, for the person at home watching this, I think what you just said was eye-opening, really eye-opening. For one, if someone is feeling that they're the only one who is on the brink of not having enough food in their cupboards, or anything financially, or losing their shelter, I think that's so good to know that they're not the only one and that things are being looked into. I think that's just a relief to hear that, because we don't know, as the public, we don't know what's happening. So to know that someone like you who has their ear to the ground sees what's happening and have our back. I think that's the thing. It's like people don't know. There are people that have your back here in this community. And there is that caring, that deep aloha spirit that I think those who can make it happen are really working to make it happen. But the transparency of communication between everyone is so important. And I don't know if any of you are those that can communicate, but if there's anything that you have that can help someone else, just coming together. There's so many different people who are trying to do things, and we don't really think necessarily always about, let's get together with the other groups and let's all, because this is something that we can't control. But what we can control is coming together and really, with that aloha spirit, to really look at what we can do for the community. So, it's really awesome. And you were mentioning that things have been, as far as people finding help, I think that's something where I can see in the Facebook groups, people are asking, where do I go for this? How do I figure this out? And you said that there's a resource for that.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of people trying to figure out where to connect with resources, and a lot of agencies and organizations trying to put those resource lists together. Maui United Way as a whole said, wait, that's a waste of a resource. We've already got one. So why put together another list of a resource that will be outdated and put forward that effort and manpower when we've already got a system in place that we can figure out on how to scale and capacity build within, and that's 211. So similar to dialing 911 for a physical emergency, 211 think of as that social emergency, which is taking place right now. If you dial 211, basically you connect with a call center within Oahu that's got a full database within a very unique and robust system of all of the nonprofit resources that are available. And those staff members are trained to work with those individuals to see what needs are available and what needs they actually need, and what additional needs they might not realize that are available as well. There have been some issues within that system. I'll be the first to admit it. I think because of the crisis, the capacity that was in that system wasn't ready for it. But what's been great at Aloha United Way, and we're Maui United Way, always some delineation in that, Maui no Kawoi, is that they've been able to scale it rather quickly. They've moved up their timelines. They've been able to build it out rather quickly. Some of the issues that we have seen, just so people are aware, is that call volumes are overwhelming. You might not even be able to get through, which is, there's a maximum of 30 people in a call line. That tells you how many people are calling. It's just an incredible amount. And then having the resources updated, having the nonprofits make sure that what is available is up to date. One thing Maui United Way we've done, and we're excited, you guys are the first to announce, we haven't actually put out the press release as of yet, is we saw that there was some space for us to contribute to that. So we actually secured funding to hire a 211 staff here on Maui. So we'll be actually having them start next week. Awesome. When I say it out loud, it's a little scary and overwhelming because we've been doing a lot of work in that space. But if you dial 211 and you're from Maui, you'll be connected with someone here on Maui, born and raised, knows the environment, will be connected within the nonprofit section, will be able to help point people to the right resources. So if you are in need, simply dial 211 and you'll be connected to everything from food security to rental and utility assistance to mental health well-being, lawyers, you name it, whatever you need, it's there. Or you can visit 211.org as well, and you can address those issues online.
What a relief. I feel like I need to shout that from the mountaintops, like, hello everybody, there's this new thing that resource, because that is the problem for a lot of moms, that people are stressed to the max. So to even do research to find out where to go is another layer of and if they don't find it, then they're in serious trouble. So This is such a great thing. Thank you for working so hard to make that happen. So for the people that feel that they can do something, I actually think everyone could do something. I think that a little bit of time, if you don't have money, a little bit of your skill, a little bit of just stepping up to offer something in this Aloha Spirit, I think could really be utilized right now. What are the things that you would like them to donate or be or to do, or what would you like?
That's a big ask. It's tough to ask for anything in these times, as you can imagine, because I know how stretched thin everyone is. So I think it's just do what you can do. If I was to ask and say, here are some opportunities, we do have some specifically with Maui United Way. One is, through financial donations. If everybody on island gave $7.50 a month, there would be a lot less social issues that would need to be addressed. You can donate at mauiunitedway.org. Volunteering your time with Maui United Way or other nonprofit organizations. We work with over 40 nonprofit agencies within the community. They're all different. They all have specific needs, and whatever your skill set is can definitely add value. We've also got our toy drive that's actually launching on Friday as well. So a lot of our partner agencies, from Big Brothers to Big Sisters to Boys and Girls Club to MUA Family Services, we supply toys during the holiday seasons for them. It's another way to donate, support, and see a child with a smile on their face that might not be able to get something without that. And just call your neighbor. Like you said, it's just tap and ask if people are doing okay. I love it when people check in with me that I haven't heard from in a while. It puts a smile on my face, and it really does go a long way. So simple things all the way up to the big things.
Well, thank you for coming on and talking about this. I want to spread the word because I think it's a hopeful feeling, and we really need that right now. We really need to feel hope, goodness, connectedness. I mean, our emotional well-being, I believe, hangs on each other. That, and we're going through such a time. We don't know for how long, and we're actually, I have to say, lucky here in Maui. We have very few cases compared to the rest of the country and even the world, but we're still in it, and we still feel like we're in it.
And probably still the highest unemployment rate in the entire country as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, just hope is a thing that spreads, and I think that we all need at certain times. And if we have the capacity to do it in one way or another, let's do it. And hashtag it, do more good Maui Nui, so we can brag about it and spread the word.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for being here. And where are you zooming off to now?
I am zooming off to my next meeting with Aloha United Way as we work to collaborate and consolidate resources to better stretch them as resources are becoming more and more limited, and unfortunately the need continues to grow. But the one thing I would add is just for the community to be patient, as well as there are a lot of resources that are out there that are being developed and created. But it's tough to be patient during these difficult times. And that's the one thing that I would ask for as well, is when talking with social service experts, the emotional labor that they're under is pretty heavy right now as well. It's been going on for quite a while. And the hours that they're putting in is it's really incredible, as is everybody's. So, we appreciate all of the work that everyone is doing, whether it's teaching, pods of students, or, trying to juggle, one lesson to the next meeting. We see that every day, and we appreciate that and value that.
I think that compassion right now for everyone where they are. We don't know how people are doing or what's going on inside of their minds and their hearts and their emotions, but having compassion and grace for whatever is the result of that as we interact with each other, I think is super important right now. So, well, thank you so much for being here. I would love to talk to you more, and we probably will, but I know you need to get on with your day too.
Well, it was a pleasure, and thank you so much, and aloha to all of the Mauis.
Okay, mamas, here's a way you can join in and do more good right now. Ace Hardware HouseSmart has a holiday bundle for you to buy. All the proceeds go to the Maui United Way, and you can find these holiday bundles in 3 of the Ace Hardware stores, Lahaina, Pukalani, and Kihei, available December 1st. And I also want to congratulate Maui United Way on being a finalist in the Better Business Bureau Hawaii's Torch Awards for Ethics. This award recognizes businesses and charities that show integrity and ethical business practices in our communities. You guys truly deserve this. So now for some more proactive pandemic wellness info, part of our series. As Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says,
we got to control the controllables. And in this case, we can control the controllables. My two-hand philosophy.
So when we can control the things that are within our control, we feel better. So that's why we're talking today to another person who can help us out. I have been under her treatment here and there over the years, and she has helped me with a car accident, with the death of my child. I know that sounds horrific, but it really is something that she helped me through. And I really never understood her methods, the way that she treats patients, until, talking to her about this in the pre-interview. So she's going to share with us now how we can take care of ourselves no matter what's happening in our world, no matter what happens to us, no matter what comes into our life that's out of our control. She's going to tell us how we can be as well as we can be and deal with those things by just some simple DIY practices. They're really simple, and she's going to share it and break those down for us. So let's bring Dr. Gina Kim into the Zoom room. Aloha, Dr. Gina. Welcome to the CoronaMama Zoom room.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and pleasure to be here, Angeline.
Oh, it is an honor for me so much. I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell us what you do, about your business, and about your family.
All right. Well, my husband and I moved here shortly after getting married. That was 33 years ago. We live in Maui. Our office is Wilcox Chiropractic. Rick Wilcox, my husband, he specializes in sports chiropractic, and I'm considered a holistic chiropractor, focusing on body, mind, spirit, balance, and harmony. We have 2 sons, all grown, 28 and 30, both born and raised on Maui. Kyle, who's 30, is a resident. He's studying to be an emergency medicine, so he'll be an ER doc. And Ryan, he's 28. He's our free-spirited one. He just spent 9 weeks bicycling cross country. He wanted to go from East Coast to West Coast, so he just finished yesterday at Venice Beach.
It's amazing. Wow.
Both amazing, amazing boys, or men now, I should say.
Yes, you're a proud mom. I love that. So I invited you here because we're doing a series on pandemic wellness because we're in this pandemic. So I've known you for a long time, and that's why I feel honored to have you here. And I know about you is that the type of medicine or type of healing that you do is unique to you. So can you tell us about that and what it is that you do?
Sure. Okay. What I do is called, or my forte is called Cellular Regeneration Technique. And the theory behind it is that the brain is a computer. And if we're functioning optimally, there's a constant feedback from the brain to all the body parts, organs, and every aspect of our being. But if there's any stress, injury, trauma, like the pandemic, that optimum feedback can get messed up, and then the body's allowed to dysfunction. So by muscle testing, or other people call it applied kinesiology, or just kinesiology, or even muscle checking or muscle response, we can play detective with every aspect of our beings and figure out who, what, when, where, why a symptom, an issue, dysfunction came about, and then figure out the details and clear it. Oh, what's been interesting since this whole pandemic started, 4 generations, I always like to check how many, if it's inherited situation, 4 generations keeps coming up. And so that's about 100 years ago. That's when the Spanish flu happened. And then shortly after that, the Great Depression happened. So that generation had a tough life, especially in the US and actually many parts of the world. And then also 14th century comes up. That's another pandemic time. Yeah, the Black Plague happened in Europe, and Europe lost half of its population. So our cells are subconsciously remembering all of this. So it comes up when I work with people so that it gives us an opportunity to clear it from all those past times so that hopefully we can live our best life now, regardless of what's going on, and it doesn't keep going on into the future. So
It's so
that's been a
interesting.
really neat thing.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you say it comes up, and what I didn't quite get that until you were explaining how it is something that is in us, even though it was from the past. We are still affected by the past, and I'm not sure exactly how, but I'm thinking our environment, how things have changed with our DNA, with we talked about, like on another show, the microbiome and all the microbes that are out in the world. And so it's so interesting how there are things that we don't even know are affecting us that we think, oh, that's old. We're here now. So whatever's happening is in front of my face and I can see it. There's a lot of stuff that's unseen, we're realizing. And, so that's quite interesting. So tell me more. Tell me more about I think I stopped you from what you were saying.
And science is actually catching up to what the holistic practitioners, whether from India, China, the indigenous peoples, have known for generations. There's a wonderful book called It Didn't Start With You. And the psychologist did a lot of research and figured out that we can feel and experience the exact same things that our ancestors did, even though we never met them. So one of the examples is a 19-year-old man. He had a good life till he turned 19. And when he turned 19, all of a sudden he was always freezing and he was deathly afraid to go to sleep. So in doing family research, they figured out that he had an uncle whom he never met because he froze to death at age 19. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, things like that. It's pretty amazing. And then a lot of people who suffer, like African Americans, American Indians, suffer suicide. Oh, and then Holocaust victims suffer suicide and depression thoughts. And it turns out that, it goes back to their ancestors. So once they realize that and can work through, whatever symptoms they're having goes away. So with the cellular regeneration, we figure out the who, what, when, where, why, and clear it so that our beings are amazing. We are designed by nature, by the divine, to be completely resilient. And so once our body, mind, and spirit are put on the right path, amazing, miraculous healings happen.
That just gave me chills, chicken skin, whatever you call it, because I know that this is what science is finding out, but we know it to be true. So that's why I'm getting it's resonating in my cells to say this is truth that I think people in the past might have said, oh, that's woo-woo, or that's really strange. But I literally looked up on the National Institutes of Health website and found this that you're talking about. They're talking about regenerating our cells, cellular regeneration. And I know that you coined that and you started that. But now science is actually studying it, like you were saying, catching up. And I saw literally all the things that I know that you utilize and you talk about in your healing practice. That's why I'm just personally, I'm like, whoa, that the thing is, a lot of times there's ancient wisdom and there's people like you who just know these things, and you do this in your practice and it works, and you see your patients getting better or healing or overcoming. But there's not actually written, measured science yet about it. But now there is. So that's why I'm having this visceral reaction right now, because I just saw that. And it's so wonderful to be able to talk about this so that people can really understand where all this comes from to inform how to heal.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit more about the cellular regeneration, how it works. And you were saying the computer is our brain, that our bodies are made to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Is there more to explain about that?
Well, sure, plenty. But bottom line, without going into all the science, is that the work that we do helps release the issues. So, for example, I had in the recent months since the pandemic started, a mom and a 5-year-old who had night terrors to the point where the little girl only slept 1 or 2 hours a night. And so we figured out that there were some inherited negative emotions, fear of death, fear of speaking truth, different types of fears like that. And once we clear those kinds of things, she started sleeping better. Actually, they both started sleeping better. And I also reminded them to not buy into their negative thoughts and just laugh at them. Say, oh, if you have a negative thought, you can go, oh, haha, good one. Thanks for trying to get me, but you're not getting me. That kind of stuff. And so they had a miracle. So there's lots of examples like that. Anyway, and then there's an example that came to mind, a man with a very sensitive tooth. And so in figuring out the more original time, it was like 10 or 15 years prior. I said, what stress was going on then? And he thought about it for a moment and said, oh, that was my first divorce. And he was now going through the second divorce. And so it gave us the opportunity to clear out what's going on now, as well as what happened in the past, so that healing can occur much easier and faster.
I'm just thinking about how, it seems like how could somebody's ideas or thoughts from the past affect our health today, or the pandemic from so long ago? How could that affect us? But when we think about our bodies are these systems that hold on to things through our chemical adrenaline hormones, cortisol, that's the stress hormone, our fight or flight, we've heard about the vagus nerve, that system, and the autonomic nervous system. Things work, that we're hearing all these buzzwords right now, but these things work without us knowing. And there are things like the hormonal things that happen when we're stressed, or adrenaline, that change our systems, that affect our bodies. And then somehow they can be stored, even emotions and things like that. So it is, these things that we think, oh, that has nothing to do with me now, like we were saying, we don't know, but they come out in different illnesses, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. What we don't resolve when there's issues will come out sometime in the future, whether it comes out as a headache, a cancer, a cold, ache and pain somewhere. It has to express itself in order to move forward. Otherwise, you're just stuck. Yeah. So along those lines, from 2001, I started praying and saying, what can I teach people so that we can all stay in better balance and harmony no matter what's going on? Because it is our goal to stay living our best life regardless of what's going on, like the pandemic now. And so the 4 balancing exercises came into being.
Okay, well, we can watch that video now if you'd like.
Sure.
Today I'd like to share with you the 4 balancing exercises. The first one we're going to do is called the Z technique. We call it a Z because it looks like you're writing a Z or a sideways N. So the first half we're going to touch, please do this with me, okay? We're going to touch our right hand with our right shoulder, then the left, then the right pelvic bone, and then the left pelvic bone. Let's do several together. Here we go. Right, left, 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 right, left. Last one, right, left, right, left. Second half, take your left hand and touch the left shoulder, and then the right shoulder, and then the left pelvic bone, and then the right pelvic bone. Let's do several again. Left, right, 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 left, right. Last one, left, right, left, right. Okay. This is great for the meridians. Meridians are the energy pathways of the organs and glands. When I first started teaching this, I had a patient who was in her 70s. She had cerebral palsy. Mentally, she was fine, but physically, she was very klutzy. So she was always falling down and hitting the sides of the wall or the corners of the wall. And after doing this for 2 weeks, she called and said, hey, I don't know what this is, what you've taught me, but I'm not falling down and I haven't been hitting the wall so much. So that's when I also realized that it's also great for your right-left balance. The second one is called the brain, nervous system, and all the brain fluid, balance. Okay? It doesn't matter which hand does what. Let's do it with me, please. Okay, touch your tailbone, and then light touch between the eyes. Hands go above the ears. Slight squeeze in on the inhale. Let go on the exhale. Again. And then touch your tailbone again. Again, it doesn't matter which hand. And then this time, light pinch at the bridge of the nose. Hands in front and back. Squeeze on the inhale. Let go on the exhale. Again. Last one. And then when you do it on your own, think or say out loud, to infinity. And in my mind, I like to add, and beyond. Okay. The next one, we call perfect cell regeneration or divine genetic blueprint. This is a great one to do when you feel like you're stressed or going out of balance. I've had great feedback from young children and adults before interviews, driving in busy freeways, before tests, thunder and lightning storms. They did the 7 taps and came right back to balance again. You see, what happens in our bodies is 200 million cells die per minute. So if you don't want degeneration, the body has to regenerate at least 200 million cells. And this will help us do that. Okay? Doesn't matter which hand does what. One hand is right on the top in the middle. One hand is right at the base of the skull. And we're going to do 7 taps gently together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then top and between the eyes, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then top and middle of the breastbone, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then top and belly button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And when you do it on your own, again, to infinity and beyond. Okay? The last one we call relax and soul mode. You're going to pant 3 times and then take a deep breath in and make a noise on the sighing. Okay, here we go. And when you do it on your own, you can pant like a dog with tongue sticking out. That's up to you. What happens with this one is when you pant, it takes the body and mind out of that fight or flight stress mode into relax mode. And then with the sighing, sound healers say that when we sigh, we naturally tone the missing tone within our soul. And the whole thing together helps balance the autonomic nervous system. Okay, so those are the 4 balancing exercises. I highly encourage you to do them at least 2-3 times a day. I even do them at least twice a day on our dog, who's getting older and can use help. Oh, and then on the brain, nervous system, and brain fluid, please do it anytime the brain needs help. When it's foggy, when you have a headache, when you feel like the memory could improve, anytime the brain can improve, you can do that one. Thank you for sharing this with everybody. I'd love for it to go viral so that we can all stay in better harmony and balance.
Well, what I loved about one of the things you said in the video was that if we are in balance, then anything that happens around us really doesn't have as much of an effect. And that's, perfect for this pandemic time because there's so much happening around us and we don't have control over it. Well, tell us where we can find more about you and any information on you if we want to follow you.
Okay, go to cellularregeneration.org. Yes, the book is, and I did write it so that we really feel empowered to heal ourselves. For 6 months.
Well, those of you who are looking for a place to eat in Central Maui, well, I've got a montage to music at the end of the show. You will see all that. But, let's just take a moment. It is Thanksgiving time and we have so much to be thankful for. And I know a lot of you out there are struggling. Life is not easy right now, so I don't want to minimize that. But if we just take a moment to pause and see the things that we do have that are free to us, that are here. We have a lot. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much for everyone who watches, who comments, who likes, who shares these videos or clips of these videos. For now, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Take care, stay safe, and be well. Aloha.